All right, are you ready to go ahead and get started with our leaf artwork? The first step we're going to do today is just to draw a big leaf on our black paper. We're going to draw that with our pencil, and we're going to draw lightly so we can erase if we need to. I have a couple of aspen leaves here. These just came right off of a tree in my backyard. And so you can see the shape of these. These are pretty simple. And this one's a little bit wider. This one is a little bit more elongated and pointier. And they both came off of the same tree. So you can think about what kind of shape you want your leaf to be. And it does not have to be perfect. Definitely not. So I'm just going to make this nice and big. I'm not sure how well this is going to show up. Let's see. Let me try another pencil. See if that shows up a little bit better. Not really. One more try. Well, we're just going to go for this. Making mine kind of wide. And I'm going to put a stem. I'm going to make my stem a little bit thicker than just the thin stem that we have here, just so it shows up. I know it's tricky to see this on the black paper. So I'm going to look at how the veins of the leaves are. They're kind of starting from the base right here where the stem of the leaf is, and kind of curving up. And so I don't have to draw every single vein on here. That would take a while. We're keeping this pretty basic and simple. So I'm just going to make one here. Almost every leaf I ever look at has that primary vein that goes right up to the tip. So we're going to do that. And then I'm just going to add in a couple more. Again, keeping it really simple. That is all I'm going to add. So let's see if I can tilt this a bit so you can see it more. All right, so now the next thing I'm going to do is just draw some lines that in my background to divide this into some different sections. And you can do this however you want. If we looked at that other sample, you might remember some lines that kind of came out from the center out to the edges. I think I'll do this one a little bit differently. I'm just going to make some lines on it. Some stripes, I guess I should say. Wavy stripes. But you can take a few minutes and think about that, how you want yours to be. So let's see if you can kind of see my lines a little bit. I know that's really hard to see on the dark paper. This next step is a little bit tricky. We're going to take our time. We are going to trace all of our lines with glue. So the first thing you want to do is just get your glue working. So I'm going to twist the orange part of the tip, and then I'm going to put my hand, and if I can feel a puff of air, then my glue should come out, because if the air can come out, the glue can come out. If I don't feel a puff of air, I'm going to close it back, and I'm just going to see if I can see if there's some dried glue here. This little white piece sticking out, that is not dried glue. That is a plastic piece that pokes up through the hole to try to keep it from blocking. So never snip that off. That's just going to make it clog worse and worse. If you have some trouble with your glue, you can definitely ask for help. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start at the top here so that my arm is not rubbing through the glue that I've already done. And I'm going to just rest the tip of the glue bottle on here, on the paper, and drag it away. I'm not pushing, I'm pulling, because if I push, the tip is going to plow through my glue and make it kind of messy. I don't know if you can tell, but I am not quite on my line. I couldn't really see where my arm was going. So if that happens to you, no worries. We are going to have so much beautiful color in here that no one will ever know. So I'm going to do that. I think I'll go ahead and do my leaf next here. So I'm just kind of gently squeezing. Now, I was getting ready to push through. Remember, I said not to do that, so I'm going to start here. Go around and join that up. If you need to turn your paper as you work, as a matter of fact, I'm going to try that myself. And if you get a little smear, don't worry. If you need some help with that, we can help too. Don't worry about it being super perfect. So, let's see. I'm going to pull this one out. One more on my leaf. Got pretty thin right there, but I'm not too worried about that. I think that's going to be totally fine. So I have my stem and my other two stripes to do. Again, whoops, see what I did? This is actually a good lesson. I'm not too worried about that, but I'm just going to take my finger, or if you don't want to get glue on your finger, you can grab a tissue or something. I'm just going to smear that out, and that'll get covered up with our color. So I'm dragging, pulling away. My stem. And let's see. Again, I'm getting a little bit off of my pencil lines, and I am not worried about it. Okay. So I've traced all of my pencil lines with glue, and this is where I have to stop for today. If things happen that, like this, you can see a little, sort of a little lump and then a really skinny place, that doesn't bother me. But if it bothers you, you can go in and kind of thicken that little area up a little bit. No worries one way or the other. So what we need to do now is put it on the drying rack to dry. You're going to really gently pick it up, carry it like a pizza. You don't want to tilt it because the glue might melt, or not melt, it might drip off. And super important thing I forgot to do is write my name. And my name, if I write it on the front, may get covered up with color when I add it, but I can't flip over my wet gluey picture. So I'm just going to go ahead and write it anyway. And I could even make a little space for that, or leave a little thin space in my color, or I could probably, a better idea, almost just put it on the back when it's dry. All right, step one of our beautiful leaf artwork is done. And this is where we stop for today.